Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to GCC's Georgia Chiro Connection. I'm your host, Dr. Kathy, and today I'm super excited to talk to one of our former board members who has helped with the GCC for many, many years, served for many, many years, Dr. Brad Pizza. Hey, Doc.
Thank you. Hey, Kathy. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything that you've done. Before we even jump into it, I want to say thank you for everything you've done for chiropractic and for chiropractors, not just in Georgia, but chiropractors all over the world. And especially what you've done to really help us with the legislature and with knowing how to handle things that are coming up in the law. You've really been instrumental in not just doing the work, but educating docs how to step in and step up too. So thank you.
I appreciate that, Kathy. But I had a great mentor, Dr. Sid. We used to go down to the Capitol, and he taught us everything we knew about how to get through the legislature and things about politics that really made a difference in Georgia. So I appreciate you mentioning that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you. And I noticed you've got a picture right behind you of it looks to be Dr. Sid and you.
Yep, that was the last time. That was the last time that we had him publicly speaking. And a great friend of ours, Jeremy Hess, took that picture, and I didn't even know it. And we were doing a philosophy on the farm, and he sent me that picture. So I treasure that.
I think I remember that. Was at Dr. Braille's house.
Yes, it surely was. It was a great,
Yes.
great night of chiropractic.
And I don't think at that point we realized that was going to be the last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his last speech.
That was a great night. I do remember that one. You know what? Dr. Sid had a huge impact on us,
He did.
on our profession, but on a lot of us personally. Anyone who was local to the area, went to life, especially during the 90s and or earlier, and anyone who went to DE, just such an impact on so many of our lives.
He did. And I've often told a lot of our colleagues that we didn't realize it, but in the early 80s and 90s, it was literally the chiropractic renaissance. It was really just a real special time. We traveled all over the world with Dr. Williams, and we made things happen. And it was just a great, great time to be in a close proximity to him. In Life College, Life University, we did so much together, and we kind of counted on each other. The GCC, Life University, DE. In his mind, it was all one big family, and that was a real important thing for us as we were growing up in chiropractic. And it truly was the Renaissance, which I will always be grateful and always thankful to Dr. Sid and Dr. Nell and Dr. Umber, because so many of those people were instrumental in shaping our chiropractic careers. So I'll always be grateful for those folks for that.
Absolutely. And we got to see Dr. Umber this weekend at DE. Mm-hmm. Of course, he speaks on Thursday night, and he's just as full of life as it gets, and he's about to be 90 years old. And
I can't believe that. 90, God bless.
90, walking up on the stage, talking, speaking, completely on fire, completely excited about the mission and the vision and the future of chiropractic.
For sure. Absolutely.
When I was a student I started in 95, and there were people who would, complain, because there's the complainers everywhere, but they would complain about going to assembly. And right. Why do I have to listen to Dr. Sid again? And I had this sense that this was our generation's BJ. And I would go to the assembly just in absolute awe, just wanting to absorb everything, soak it all in, just let it infuse every cell of my body. Sure. Because I understood, like, this is the legend that we will get to say, yes, I knew Dr. Sid, right? Yeah. Yes, I got to see him speak. Yes, I got to learn from him.
Absolutely. And I had the same experience too when I was at Life College, being from New Jersey and then listening to him speak for the first time. I had no idea what he was talking about. Right. But I felt something was really pulling on my heartstrings. And I used to look forward to assembly also. And it was a really important time for us to kind of sit there. And assemblies were a lot different than they were later on. I mean, it was in a warehouse. It was folding chairs. It was just amazing how they pulled that off. So those are fond memories. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. So one of the books that Dr. Sid wrote is a favorite of mine, and I know it's a favorite of yours as well, which is Looking Back to See Ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was going to be the topic of our discussion for today. And there's so many things in that book. I mean, we just don't have enough time to even hit on any of it, really. But the title of that book says it all. It really does. Dr. Sid always had a vision, and he always had his eye on the future, whether it was building a college, taking care of the ICA people, taking care of Georgia politics. And when he was beginning his career with the college, he always had a vision and that model. I don't know if any of you remember that the model in his office, you could go in and see what his vision was.
I do.
Yeah,
I
for
forgot
sure.
all about that.
Yeah. And it was always, and he always taught us, show up in a big way. And I remember being at a Georgia Tech football game with him sitting on the 50-yard line, and he was just fired up. He was excited about being there, and everybody who walked past him stopped and said hello. And those are the people he drew upon when the college was starting to create, when he was starting to create the college.
Yeah.
So his vision was always where he was to where he was going. And he always talked about that, especially at DE, playing football, high school football, and then college football. So it always wound up the same conversation, where looking from where he was to where he wanted to go. And we're getting ready to start our 40th year in practice. And I can't believe 40. But anyway, and I was blessed enough to have Dr. Umber come to my 35th anniversary party. He stopped at the office, and we had all kinds of food and partying and everything. And it poured like hell that afternoon. And Dr. Umber and his lovely wife came out, and they sat with us, and we had state senators there. And those were the things that Dr. Sid taught me. You know, no matter what happens, you just show up and do the best you can. And so now we're getting ready for our 40th year in chiropractic, and hopefully it won't rain on that afternoon, but we're excited about that. And I really feel blessed and honored to have had all these people in my life be able to be part of that. And the GCC was kind enough at the 2021 convention to, they gave me a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I didn't really kind of know about that. And I wasn't real happy about it, to be honest.
Do you think you were getting like pushed out to pasture or something?
I was getting like, okay, buddy, you're done, get out. And, you know, a lot of our friends at this time were starting to think about retiring or taking it a little bit easier. And I said, hell no. And I said, you know, this Lifetime Achievement Award is just the beginning. So I was excited about that. And, you know, getting ready for the next 10 years. That's my game plan, is another 10 more years. And I thought of Dr. Clay Thompson. He was at a DE meeting, and I think he was turning 80 or something. And him and Dr. Sid were walking in the hall, and they were talking about the future of what they wanted to achieve in chiropractic. And Clay Thompson's 80 years old, and he's working on something for a new table. So, you know, chiropractors, my personal feeling is you should never retire. Always have somewhere to go. Never sell your practice. Always have your hand in something so that you don't get stale. And I've seen so many chiropractors start to think about retiring, and they get in trouble. They do crazy things. They do things that they really shouldn't be. So my best advice to everybody is retire in practice if you're thinking about retiring. So, but after my Lifetime Achievement Award, I said, you know what? This ain't for me. So I got to keep on keeping on. So I wanted to thank Brian Lieberman for that award too.
Right.
So we appreciate all the efforts that we can do. And I'm not done. I'm in it again. I'm here for the long haul. So that's it. Don't think I'm out the door. Katrina, I'm still coming. Don't wait. So there you go. So we're looking back. We really are looking back to see ahead. And I think the future of chiropractic is bright. I think the future in chiropractic in Georgia is bright. We just had some legislation passed recently about a Georgia lien law. I don't know if everybody's familiar with that, but we'll certainly put more information out about that. So chiropractic's on the rise. We're surfing the wave, and our practice is growing. We still got people. I brought in a new associate to come and be with me just recently to handle some of the extra people, but it ain't over till I say it's over, Kathy.
That's right.
They can give me all the awards they want, but I'm not going down.
Not going away.
Right?
I'm staying
Dr.
here.
Sid said we're not going down, me and Rocky, so we're good.
Love it.
So hopefully everybody will do that. Yes. Anything else?
Yes. So you've taken care of a lot of very important people, very famous people, very well-known people, but you've also taken care of thousands and thousands of families and, everyday people who come through your office on a daily basis. And I know you've probably got countless stories that could inspire students or young docs or even anyone who's kind of, you get to that burnout phase in the office where you're just going through the motion. Do you have a story or two that just absolutely jump out at you that would just inspire chiropractors to do what we do better and serve more people today in their office?
I think I could find something. That's a great question. But the thing that inspires me every day is taking care of the people as they come in. We just recently bought a digital x-ray for the practice. So one of the things I loved was when I see a new patient and I put the x-rays up there and I got them, I can't wait to see what the x-ray shows me. And when a patient comes through the door, you never know. It's really an exciting time for me. So when I went to the digital x-rays, it was really fun to be able to change things and do things. So when I see patients come in, I practiced in Hapeville, right by the airport. I mean, I literally could walk to the airport at Delta. And when I first started in 1984, I had no idea where I was. I was looking for a practice down in Jonesboro. And for new docs that are looking for practices or figuring out where they want to go or how they want to set up, I always felt if you follow your heart and not your head, you'll be okay. So when I got, there was a practice for sale down in Jonesboro, and I was just ready to graduate, and I was going down there to see the practice, and I got lost. And it was a rainy night, a rainy afternoon, and I didn't know where I was. And I wound up in a little city of Hapeville, which is part of Atlanta, actually. And it just felt right. There was a little building on the side of the street. And so I called my wife at the time and I said, I think I found a place to practice. She says, well, where is it? And I said, it's in Hapeville. She goes, where's Hapeville? And I said, I have no idea, but that's where we're going. And the rest is history. I didn't have any idea how close I was to the airport. I didn't know how close I was to the Ford plant that was down here or the main Atlanta post office. And as we started building the practice, it was a great time because people came in and I had just enough money to get started. I was still just a struggling student at the time. And we opened up one room at a time. I'll never forget it. And it was in the middle of the summer in Georgia. The air conditioner didn't work. There was a red shag carpet in the floor. The windows were painted black. But none of that mattered because I knew in my heart this was the place to be. And I've had baseball stars as patients. I've had politicians as patients. I had judges. I've had the police, the mayor. Everybody. When you sit in my office, you never know who's coming through that door. And, we could have hookers down the street coming in, sitting next to judges from Atlanta, and they all get along. We all get together. And Dr. Sid always told me, you accept all cases. And to me, that meant all cases, regardless of the condition or financial ability to pay. But what happens is it all works out. And that's the thing I think the young practitioners need to remember. It's not always about the money. You have to have the business hand and the love hand, and never should they meet, but they should be equally strong at all times. And those are the principles that I built this office on years ago. And to this day, I still listen to Dr. Sid's tapes coming into the office, and I still do the things, the breathing. I do that every morning. And so those are the things that set me into the future of chiropractic. And I've always been grateful for those things. And I got another 10 more years to go, Brian. So that award don't mean nothing, but I do love and appreciate that. So those are the stories we got to keep going.
Those stories are terrific. But I would be remiss if I didn't go back a step and say, you got a digital X-ray machine.
Yes.
You're going to start taking digital pictures now.
Yes.
I love it. I love
Absolutely.
it. So you know what? When I switched to that, it was such a big deal because it was that instant. You could see them. I'm
Yes.
not waiting for them to get developed. If,
Right.
if the factors were wrong or the patient, was a different size than we thought, that made a big difference in the timeliness for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the patients love it because we can instantly show them what they're looking for, especially in this age of wanting to see things immediately.
Right.
And I struggled with it for a while because I was kind of like, gee, do I really want to go ahead and do this? But I just think it's the greatest thing since bologna sandwiches, and it's really a wonderful thing. And it's just we're again looking back to see ahead. We're starting to do that again. I mean, we came through COVID, and it took a toll on a lot of chiros, and I know that. But I think we came out of that stronger, and I think now, looking ahead to the next 5 or 10 years, I'm remodeling the office. I'm putting in the digital. So to me, what else would we do? How much golf can you guys play? It's not okay for me. I would probably lose my mind if I had to retire. So retirement is not in my future. And I hope that people realize that what we do is so important for so many. And I just love what I do every day. I drive down from Marietta to the airport every day. And it's a great time to just sit back and think of all the wonderful memories we've had over the years and the many more to come. So I'm looking forward to the next phase in my chiropractic career.
Right. Listen, your attitude is what has driven you for all these years. It's so clear, right?
That's for sure.
What's the saying on the walls? Your attitude more than your aptitude determines your altitude.
Absolutely.
I love it. You've always had that positive energy, and you've always shared that with everybody around you. So thank you.
I appreciate that. I mean that sincerely. And I look forward to seeing everybody at our upcoming events too. So
we have a lot of upcoming events. The end of August, we're going to be down in Augusta. In September, we head to South Georgia. I think that's Warner Robins. October, we've got our Chiro Cup. November, we're in Savannah. And then December, we're back here in the Marietta area for our convention and our Christmas party.
Right.
But we also have DE coming up in October. I'm sure we're going to have a philosophy event coming up. So there's a lot of events going on that you can obviously get to see Dr. Brad. And at all of our events, we'll be talking about that new Georgia lien law and helping you understand it, because it's not as bad as it sounded when it first came out. It's actually maybe not so terrible. It may actually work in our favor, and it definitely will help the patients because it applies to the hospitals as well as us. So
sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
the more I've learned about it, the more I'm like, you know what, this might actually help for the patients in a lot of these, big settlement cases where they've got huge hospital bills. So it may be a good thing for us.
Well, I just want to give a kudos off to Dr. Karen Mathiak, who spearheaded that, and she fought for that for years, and for many times that we met down at the Capitol, and the things that we've done over the years. She's been a wonderful asset to the chiropractic community. So kudos to Dr. Karen Mathiak and her team. They did a great job. And yes, we really should embrace that, because Dr. Sid said you accept all cases. And that doesn't mean we want to take care of the car accidents. You want to take care of the work injuries. You want to take care of Mary Medicare. You want to take care of everyone that comes through that door. But you have to have your ducks in a row. Paperwork and documentation is very important, especially right now. And I know Dr. Davila John Davila did a great talk for us a couple of weeks ago. So, like I tell my new doctors that work with us, it says it's the little difference that makes all the difference. And please, what we do is wildly wonderful, but you also have to make sure that Dr. What was his name? Dr. Mike. Chiropractic is serious business. And I never forget that. And I never take that lightly. even though we have a lot of kids and have fun and we enjoy what we do, on the business side of that hand is this is serious business. So please understand that you have people's lives in your hands every single day when you take somebody in your practice, and treat them that way. So we love having kids. We love having a good time. We party, balloons. It's just a crazy day. But on the same token, when you got Mary in front of you and you got her on that table, you want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. So I see a lot of our friends sometimes take shortcuts, which makes me a little bit crazy in my head. So please remember that the next time, if you see me in the hall, just stop by, talk to me. If you're having any problems, I'd be more than happy to share and sit down, because a lot of folks are out there. But it's wonderful to have the GCC and DE in places where we can come together and share, and because you're not alone out there. A lot of doctors feel like they're alone out there, and that's probably one of the worst things that you could do, is know that you have friends and colleagues in our associations to help with all these things. So Kathy, I sure appreciate everything you do for the GCC, and Katrina, I know you're a big part of what goes on around here, and I just love being part of it. And thank you for not shooing the old man out the door.
No, we love and appreciate you tremendously.
We appreciate that too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on today.
It was my pleasure. Anytime, if I can help, please call upon me.
We will, absolutely. And to everybody watching today, thank you so much for joining us for GCC's Georgia Chiro Connection. We're here every Wednesday around 1:30, but you can always catch the replay. If you're watching this live, just drop a little comment or a replay. Just do a little hashtag replay so we know that you saw this. Send some love over to Dr. Brad Pizza. Thank you so much for coming. Hey, Dr. Chris, thank you so much for coming on with us today, Dr. Brad.
I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
Bye-bye, everybody.